The president doesn't try to reach out and reward these countries and companies that play by the rules in the 1987 scenario, the one where we went down 3 days and then down 22% on Monday, has the most cogency. We will not have to wait out too long, will we? We'll know by Monday. Fortunately, we had an excellent set of employment numbers today. At least it makes it less likely a crash will necessarily lead to a recession. But if President Trump stays intransigent and does nothing to ameliorate the damage that I saw these last 2 days, I'm not going to be constructive here. I will contain my anger, but only because I lived through 87, and in the end, I came out okay. I was in cash for the crash. I know what this feels like. Oh, and if Europe moves against our fabulous tech companies next week, then I will be furious. That I promise you, because it should not happen.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us. Happy Monday. For context, that was the brilliant, and I put in air quotes, brilliant Jim Cramer on Friday, telling us how bad of a Monday it was going to be. It was going to be historic. Things were going to be terrible. Like they couldn't get any worse than they were last week. Obviously, this is still the tariff fight that's going on. The reason I wanted to start out with that clip today, to bring it for you guys, was to show you guys and to tell you guys that 90% of this is media panic. Jim Cramer has been wrong about virtually everything. Take a listen to Jim Cramer in 2023 talking about Bitcoin at $16,000.
Why do you think it's been so resilient here in the high 16s?
Well, I'll tell you what Stark says, because it's phony and a scam. Being propped up by people who need it propped up, and that's all there is. Very harsh.
Now, I'm not for or against Bitcoin in any sense. I own some Bitcoin myself. But that was Jim Cramer in 2023, calling it a scam at $16,000. Bitcoin has since then crossed over 100,000. It now sits in the area of about $80,000. Jim Cramer has been wrong about literally everything. There's actually a app called Autopilot, and you can inverse everything that Jim Cramer tells you to do. Every stock that he tells you to buy, you can inverse it, and this app will do it for you. Now, this is no promotion for the app, but just to tell you how bad and how wrong this man has been over the course of history, it's surprising that he still has a job. Usually the only people who get away with things like that are weathermen, and every now and then they're right. Jim Cramer, however, is never right and has done nothing but instill fear into the American people. Now, luckily, not a lot of people watch him. Not a lot of people tune into him, but with his crazy sayings and the crazy things he does, he makes news headlines and it scares people like you and I. Now, you guys are probably a lot smarter now than Jim Cramer, so you don't fall for his nonsense. But nonetheless, there are people who have, and there are people who do fall for his nonsense. The whole thing is to scare people, to terrify people about what's really going on in this country right now. It's very simple. Donald Trump has been very honest about what he was going to do when he took office. The tariffs were always on the table. The way he's using them right now, in my opinion, is to get this economy under control. We're coming off inflation that was through the roof. We're coming off home prices that are completely unaffordable. We're coming off interest rates totally unaffordable, whether you're buying a house or a car for the average hardworking American. Rates, wages, pretty stagnant over the last few years for people who are in blue-collar industries. In other words, the rich are getting richer and the poor are staying where they're at, and the middle class are completely flat. Donald Trump, I think, doesn't sit well with him. The end goal for Donald Trump is to get interest rates down so people could afford to buy homes again, to get this market under control, and to get people who are making $150,000. Now, this has been floated before, and I believe we'll see it over the next few months, but people who are making under $150,000 a year to pay no federal income tax. Now, think about how massive that will be for the average hardworking middle-class American to pay zero income tax, especially if you're living in a state that has no state income tax. You're looking at zeros across the board. Of course, you'll still pay FICA and you'll still pay Social Security. May even go up a tiny bit to subsidize it. But think about a world where you live in where like 90% of the population in this country can make more money, can put more money into their own pockets, can put more money into an economy. That's Donald Trump's ultimate goal. So with these tariffs, it will, of course, bring jobs back to America slowly but surely. It'll force American companies to start using Americans' labor. It'll force American companies to start using American produce and cattle, so we don't have to compete against Asian nations or European nations against our own people. That's just the brunt of it, and that's what I believe Donald Trump is working towards. Now, Donald Trump was on Air Force One last night flying back from Florida, and he was asked about the stock market. He was asked how much he's willing to tolerate before he says enough is enough. Now, the markets opened this morning a little rough. Dow futures were down about 2,000 points last night. But throughout the day, from market open to market close, the damn thing rallied from down 2,000 points. The Dow only closed down about 350 points. The S&P was only down about 12 points. And the NASDAQ actually gained 15 points. So people are starting to read between the lines. But anyway, President Trump last night aboard Air Force One was asked, how much are you willing to tolerate when it comes to the stock market? How much are you willing to lose? Take a listen to his response, because I think it goes to exactly what I had just intimated to you all about his end goal. Take a listen.
Is there pain in the market? At some point, you're unwilling to tolerate this idea of a Trump put. Is there a threshold?
I think your question is so stupid. I mean, I think it's I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen. They took our businesses, they took our money, they took our jobs, they moved it to Mexico, they moved it to Canada, they moved a lot of it to China, and it's not sustainable. We're not going to do it. Now we have hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country. On a monthly basis, it's pouring, it's already started because they put tariffs on. And eventually it's going to straighten out and our country will be solid and strong again.
Intimating exactly what I had just relayed. Now, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, recently sat down for an interview with Tucker Carlson. Now, you'll hear from the left, from the elites on the left, and from the mainstream media as well, that Trump is doing this for his buddies. He's doing this for his buddies, his billionaire friends, for them to get richer and the poor to get poorer. But let's take a look at just who has taken a hit over the last week or so. Elon Musk has lost over $100 billion. Jeff Bezos has lost over $50 billion. Mark Zuckerberg has lost over $28 billion. Bernard Arnault from LVMH, Louis Vuitton, has lost nearly $20 billion. Bill Gates has lost about $4 billion. Larry Ellison from Oracle lost about $42 billion. The list goes on and on and on and on. So the notion that Donald Trump is doing this for his elites, it's quite the opposite. Anyway, Scott Bessent, who I think is totally brilliant, sat down with Tucker Carlson, a good man, to fill us in on just what the numbers are and what they look like and who is benefiting from this and who's hurting from this. Take a listen and listen very carefully, because I think it's very telling.
The distribution of equities across households, the top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50 has debt. They have credit card bills. They rent their homes. They have auto loans, and we've got to give them some relief. That I was struck by the statistic from last year.
That's the message right there. Just as a bystander, I'm like, wow, okay.
All right. Or that, you know, I like the examples, and I was really struck by two different statistics last year. Summer of 2024, Americans took more European vacations than they had in history. Summer of 2024, more Americans were using food banks than they ever have in history. I went into two food banks near my hometown to ask, what's the story? And they said, you know, it really takes, for a lot of people, it's a loss of dignity to walk in a food bank.
Of course.
But they were seeing something, a new phenomenon, that it wasn't their traditional clientele. It wasn't people who'd lost their homes. It wasn't people out on the street. These were working families who could no longer, $100 at the grocery store, that basket of groceries every week, they were missing 5, 6, 7 things, and they were coming to the food bank to top up. So, that's not a great America. Record European vacation, record food banks.
So who's Donald Trump really working for? Is it the billionaire working class, the billionaire working class, we'll call it? Is that who he's working for, like the mainstream media and the left tells us he's working for? Or is it the hardworking average American like you and I, the blue-collar worker who are working in factories, the farmers out in the Midwest, those people who aren't making 6 figures a year? That's who Donald Trump is fighting for. Folks, I want to take a quick break here. When we return, I want to go a little bit deeper into this because nations are reaching out and they're trembling and they're terrified and they want to make a deal. Imagine that. It's only been a few days since these tariffs went into effect and they want a deal. We're going to tell you who wants a deal and is Donald Trump game? Does he want to make a deal? Is he ready to make a deal right now? We're coming right back, folks. Let's pick this up, Rob. Sorry. We're coming right back, folks. Stay with us. More to come here on The Great America Show.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupted this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Folks, we're back. Thanks for staying with us here on The Great America Show. So right before we went to break, I had mentioned to you that there's some countries who want to make a deal. 0 tariffs. Now, many nations have reached out. In fact, 50, some of the bigger ones who have reached out. Israel, President Trump met with Benjamin Netanyahu today. Japan, the United Kingdom, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Mexico, Canada, Argentina, Australia, South Korea, India, Switzerland, Malaysia, the European Union, Indonesia. Just some of the biggest offenders we'll name for them. Now, there's one particular nation that is not game, and they're the ones who are becoming, I guess you can call them, the first offenders, and that is the CCP, the nation of China. Now, China is playing the long game, I guess. They're playing the tough guy game, coming out 34% tariffs on America starting in just a few weeks. So Donald Trump says, that's fine. You can withdraw those, or we're going to put an extra 50% on top of you folks. So now the ball is in China's court. 50% will ultimately, in my opinion, totally cripple China. China's Ministry of Finance whining about it, saying that Donald Trump is using tariffs to unilaterally bully them. Well, never mind that China has spent decades engaging in currency manipulation, slave labor with the Uyghurs. I mean, that's part of the reason we're in this situation in the first place. Corporate espionage, stealing our secrets, stealing our trade secrets, and systematically destroying the American industrials, our manufacturing sector. So Donald Trump now says he's giving them until tomorrow morning, April 8th. Otherwise, a fresh 50% tariff will go on to China. April 9th, no negotiations, no second chances, quote unquote, from President Donald J. Trump. He's done playing the games with China, and I'm finally happy to see him doing just that. They've never paid the price for unleashing the China virus on the world. They've gotten away with it. Nobody's ever held them accountable. It's time for these people to feel the pain, whether it's economically or physically, to what America felt, what the millions of Americans felt the over 1 million Americans who have lost their lives from COVID, and the millions worldwide. China has never paid the price. They've never answered a question as to what exactly happened and how that China virus was unleashed on the world. I think we all know what exactly happened. China was never forthcoming about it. So back to the zero tariff situation that European Union now all of a sudden wants to do. Sounds nice, right? 0 for 0. But not so fast. Peter Navarro was on CNBC this morning and explained it, I think, very eloquently. Take a listen to Peter Navarro.
What is enough? Okay, you take any given country, they're like fingerprints. They all cheat us in a different way. So here are the things they cheat us on. Some of them engage in currency manipulation. Some of them have a hefty VAT tax. All of them dump into our markets. All of them engage in heavy export subsidies and government subsidies. All of them put up these phony technical and phytosanitary barriers to our ag products and our autos and everything in between. Many of them steal our intellectual property. A lot of them run sweatshop labor, including forced child labor. They have pollution havens. So when you say to me, Ed, what do we want from them? We want fairness. We don't want them to kill American workers by inundating us with this non-tariff cheating. And it would be really refreshing to have the media talk more about that. This zero tariff thing, it's a misdirection. No, it's a misdirection. It's the non-tariff barriers.
So like I said, it sounds good on paper. But is it really best for America? Now, Peter goes a little bit further to explain just how we can make it work and what makes sense and how China may be trying to scheme once again. Take a listen.
With the president willing to negotiate, what we have here is a national emergency based on massive chronic trade deficits caused by systematically higher tariffs and non-tariff barriers. So when you ask if we're willing to negotiate, the president will always listen. But let's understand what the problem is. When you have a country like Vietnam, let's take Vietnam. When they come to us and say, we'll go to zero tariffs, that means nothing to us because it's the non-tariff cheating that matters. Let's do Vietnam, Joe. They sell us $15 for every $1 we sell them. About $5 of that 15 is China transshipping to Vietnam to evade their tariffs.
What
does Vietnam do? They dump into our markets, killing our shrimpers, our people who make metal brackets, kitchen cabinets, agricultural products. They engage in intellectual property theft. They have the biggest number of cases aside from China at the Department of Commerce on the dumping. So the point is, anybody who wants to come to talk to us about lowering your non-tariff barriers. Vietnam has a 10% VAT. Europe has a 19% VAT. We can't compete against that. We have tried at the World Trade Organization to get, Andrew, let me just make this point. We have tried at the World Trade Organization since the 1970s to get VAT tax relief, and they've told us no every single time. We've won case after case at the World Trade Organization on things like our agricultural products, pork, beef, and other and corn, Peter, and they just blow us off.
So Peter Navarro, I think in those two clips lays it out perfectly for everyone to understand just exactly what is going on. China is the mass manipulator, as they've been for the last 20 years. Started with the Belt and Road Initiative, which of course was brought to you in part by the Democrats, Bill Clinton and company. And who doesn't want to play nice? Now, one of the nations who sort of wants to play nice but doesn't want to play nice is Japan. Japan now, after announcing that they may want to add some more tariffs on America, saying that they're sending negotiators. Now, this is just tonight, breaking tonight. They're going to be sending their negotiators to discuss tariffs on how they can lift tariffs and maybe work something out. Now, this includes a 24% tariff on Japanese import. Japanese prime minister is coming to the table to give the U.S. a better deal at their current 46% ripoff. Now, the other day, Howard Lutnick was on with Margaret Brennan. We'll see if we can get you the clip with Margaret Brennan. And he was asked about how the tariff policy was laid out. When Donald Trump went out there last week and put the tariff board up, there was different percentage of tariffs. Now, none of the tariffs were, for the most part, equal. So in other words, if we have if Canada has a 50% tariff on us, we didn't necessarily hit them back with the 50% tariff. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second, what the meaning of it behind it is while we wait to get this clip for you. Howard Lutnick on with Margaret Brennan of CBS's, I believe it's Deface the Nation is what I like to call it. I was told we got the clip for you. We're going to roll it. Take a listen.
When we saw the president stand in the Rose Garden holding up that chart that you helped make, that wasn't actually tariffs. That was actually confusing to investors because it was some kind of other formula, and the countries themselves seemed kind of random. Like, why are the Heard and McDonald Islands, which don't export to the United States and are quite literally inhabited by penguins, why do they face a 10% tariffs? Did you use AI to generate this?
No. The idea is
why are they on the list?
Left off. Because the idea, what happens is if you leave anything off the list, the countries that try to basically arbitrage America go through those countries to us. Any country, like we had tariffs, the president put tariffs on China, right, in 2018. And then what China started doing is they started going through other countries to America.
Right.
They just built through other countries through America. And so the president knows that. He's tired of it. And he's going to fix that. So basically, he said, look, I can't let any part of the world be a place where China or other countries can ship through them. So he ended those loopholes, these ridiculous loopholes. And now what he's trying to say is, I'm going to fix the trade deficit of the United States of America. It's a national security issue. We need to make medicine. We need to make semiconductors. We need to make ships. We need to have steel and aluminum. Come on. We need the greatness of America to actually be built in America. And he's tired of getting ripped off by the rest of the world.
Okay.
So you hear Margaret Brennan there agreeing. Yeah, right. I understand. After asking the ridiculously stupid question, but then sits there and agrees like she already knew the answer to the question. Pretty pathetic. But I guess what do you expect from these people? All they want to do was instill fear in us. That's what they've done from the beginning. That's exactly what they want. And now, since November 5th, they've obviously been cheering for a market collapse, and they're getting a little bit of that. But I don't think it's going to last very long. You saw today a 1,500-point rally out of the Dow. Nothing has changed. No deals have been made to take any tariffs off of anybody. So what's the reason for the market rally? People are buying. These guys on Wall Street, I mean, are just terrible people. And let's not forget, they make money on the way up and they make money on the way down. But as you heard Scott Bessent, 10% of the population owns 80% of the stock market. Like I said, it's not folks like you and I. It's these Wall Street hawks, the billionaires in the ruling class, who couldn't care less about the average hardworking middle-class Americans. Just the truth. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we've got some news, some continued news to go over. We've got some rhinos in the Senate who want to rein in some power on Donald Trump. It's starting already. I wish I could have told you I didn't say so. Also, Donald Trump breaking tonight that he's going to be meeting with some folks in Iran. Maybe we have a deal there. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, issuing a massive victory for America First and for the Trump administration just hours ago. We're going to take that up on the other side of this quick break. And the Los Angeles Dodgers making the trek to the White House. We're going to tell you all about it when we return. Stay with us, folks. We're coming right back. The Great America Show continues in just moments. Please stay with us.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Folks, we're back. Thanks for staying with us here on the Great America Show. President Trump meeting in the Oval Office with Benjamin Netanyahu today. Very optimistic from President Trump. Let's roll a clip of the meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu.
I will say this. Virtually every country wants to negotiate. If I didn't do what I did over the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't have anybody wants to negotiate. We would have gone to these countries, you want to talk? And they were, well, we don't want to talk. Now they're coming to us. They're offering things like even Bibi, and this is unrelated because it's a different kind of a relationship, but he started off our conversation today that he's cutting all of the tariffs, he's cutting everything, he's going to get down to a free base, he's going to do things that, in all fairness, other countries, if they said that, would have never even thought about doing it. Now they're offering things to us that we would have never even thought of asking them for because they're experiencing a lot of hurt. And the hurt is that they've taken advantage of us and we finally fought back. Tariffs will make this country very rich. We're rich anyway, but we're rich in a certain way. We have $36 trillion in debt. I want to get rid of it. And we can do it quickly with proper deals. So when countries don't allow us to sell our product, but we allow them to sell their product, when they charge us massive amounts of money for the privilege of going into their country, those days are over.
God bless Donald J. Trump, folks. I don't know where we'd be without him. The first administration, now the second administration. I assure you, everything is going to be, excuse me, everything is going to be A-okay in the end. This has only been going on for a few weeks now. Give the man some time, and everything is going to be okay. America seemingly is like the kid on the playground who gets bullied and bullied and bullied and never fights back for themselves, economically, of course, because when it comes to wars, we're everywhere. But it's like the kid on the playground who gets bullied and bullied and bullied, and one day just has enough and looks that bully right in the eyes and punches him square between those eyes. And that's Donald Trump right now. I mean, we've been taken advantage of, folks, for years. And I keep repeating myself, and I sound like a broken record, but I still think there's people out there who don't realize what's gone on. I was talking with Jerry Storch the other day here on the Great America Show, the former CEO of Toys R Us, and he said it perfectly. Everyone thinks America's rich. America can afford to be taken advantage of, but we can't. I mean, I think we are the poorest nation when it comes to debt to GDP. I mean, the debt continues to rise with no end in sight. The percentage of money we pay on the debt is through the roof. And that's another thing that President Trump, I believe, is part of his calculation, is he wants to refinance that debt at near 0%, which would absolutely drill inflation into the ground. Don't listen to Jamie Dimon or Larry Kudlow. Neither of them know what they're talking about. I saw a clip of Larry Kudlow, who I worked for the other day, talking about how tariffs are going to drive inflation through the roof. First of all, Larry Kudlow cheered and begged for free trade for years. And it wasn't until Donald Trump came in and the great Lou Dobbs had to teach Larry Kudlow what fair trade was, which is what we're witnessing right now. This is a man who's advocated for free trade. Just so you know, free trade is what got us into this situation in the first place, Larry Kudlow. So don't be listening to folks like him and Jamie Dimon. What President Trump is ultimately going to do is absolutely crush inflation, have it back down to near zero where it was when he left office. But these brilliant economists say otherwise. But these are the same economists who told us Donald Trump was going to crash the economy the first time. We're still waiting for that to happen. This is just a little bump in the road, folks. Nothing is ever smooth, as it seems. And we'll get to smooth sailings, I believe, in the next few months here. I think this is only, excuse me, a momentary setback, and we'll get to better grounds. Now, rhinos, we talk about them each and every day here on this show. They're acting up again. 7 of them in the Senate, along with Don Bacon in the House. Chuck Grassley, Mitch McConnell, joining on with 5 other Republicans, Senator Jerry Moran of Kansas, Lisa Murkowski, of course, of Alaska, Tom Tillis of North Carolina. That name should be of no surprise. Todd Young of Indiana, another one. Susan Collins of Maine, an absolute another rhino who are up for re-election 2026. They're supporting something called the Trade Review Act. These folks, these 7 senators, want to put a check and balance system on President Trump's tariff use. Like they know anything about tariffs, like they know what they're talking about. Some of these senators have been there since the very beginning of this mess that we're in the first place. Yet they want to be the ones to reel in power. These are the ones who want to reign in power, so they say. Yet they're the ones who have gotten us into this situation in the first place. I say no dice. Enough's enough. We've given power to the politicians for far too long, and you know what? That's why we're in this situation in the first place. We've got to give Donald Trump some time to fix this thing on his own with this brilliant administration. Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick, 2 of the smartest people he could have surrounded himself with when it comes to economics, when it comes to policy. So we're going to give them some time to fix this thing. Nothing happens overnight, as I keep repeating myself. As I say, I can continue to sound like a broken record, but it's the point that I believe that we have to get across. All right, let's get through some news now, some fun stuff. Now that we'll wrap up on the tariffs. Sorry for boring you guys, but I think it's important for all of us to know what's going on, and I think it's my responsibility to fill you all in on what I believe is going on, give you my opinion on what's going on, and tell you what's going on to allow you to form your own opinion on what's going on. So let's turn to some news. Everyone's favorite witch doctor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, is back. He's been in hiding after getting his preemptive pardon. I want you all to guess what he's talking about. He's giving everyone a warning. What could Fauci be possibly warning about? If you're thinking what I'm thinking, he's warning of another pandemic. Or is he? Take a listen.
What is likely to happen, I don't know if it's going to be next year or 10 years or 15 or 20 years from now, is the emergence of another respiratory disease. It may be another coronavirus, because we know that coronaviruses really, mostly in bats, have the capability of binding to receptors that are in humans. It could be another flu. We're dealing with H5N1 now, which is bird flu, which has taken the somewhat disturbing step of infecting mammals, namely cows and cats and other mammals, which means it's adapting itself more to a human. So my concern, Walter, is that whenever that happens, the next outbreak will be of a respiratory disease that's easily transmissible, that has a significant degree of morbidity.
And we are making this a little bit more dangerous with the cuts and our attitude toward science?
Oh, absolutely.
That man did not learn his lesson. Dr. Anthony Fauci, you are our numbskull of the day here on the Great America Show. I mean, this is a man who should have never surfaced his face and shown face again here on this planet. A man who we know has lied and lied and lied and lied and lied and lied some more about everything. Masks, social distancing, we found out it was all a lie. He was just doing some good old trolling. And now he's out to warn us once again that another pandemic is coming. Well, we're going to keep an eye on that pandemic that he's talking about, and we'll keep you posted on that. Turning to some foreign policy. Donald Trump confirming tonight that they are in direct talks with Iran right now. President Trump says they are holding talks, and they're going to hold direct talks in person over the nuclear problem, saying the meeting is set for this coming Saturday. Quote, "We're having direct talks with Iran, and they've already started. It will go on Saturday, a very big meeting. We will see what happens." We're going to keep you posted on that. President Trump says everyone agrees doing a deal would be preferable to doing it the obvious. Trump says, referring to the threats of military force against Iran's nuclear facilities. Now, Iran, of course, has been getting hit a little bit hard lately as it pertains to the Houthis. President Trump bombing the heck out of them, letting them know that we're not going to play their games. They want to mess around. They're going to find out the hard way. Some news back here at home. Chief Justice John Roberts. I mean, he's like a daffodil. Some days he's up straight. Some days he's flopping to the left. Some days he's flopping to the right. Today we get a pretty honorable Chief Justice John Roberts. Now, earlier today, President Trump asked the Supreme Court to intervene and grant an emergency stay of a judge's order to return an MS-13 gang member to the United States. Last Friday, U.S. District Judge for the U.S. District Court of District of Maryland ordered President Trump's administration to return this MS-13 gang member back to the United States after he was deported to El Salvador in that notorious CCOT prison. This judge ordered that gang member be returned by tonight. Chief Justice John Roberts doing the right thing, granting a temporary stay, giving the administration to respond until tomorrow. It's not every day that we get a good ruling from Chief Justice John Roberts out of the Supreme Court. So anytime we get one, we feel it's incumbent on us to bring it to you guys and let you guys know about the good news. But that's a good sign, in my opinion. If John Roberts is allowing things like that to happen, some of these other fights that we're having in the Supreme Court and these lower courts about deporting illegals. Imagine that. Imagine we have to go to any courts to have a fight about deporting illegal aliens. People came here illegally, committed crimes here illegally, did all types of illegal acts, and we have to fight to deport them? I mean, it really is insane to think that this is what this nation has come to, folks. It's quite sad. But there's no one else to thank but the mainstream media, the Marxist leftists, the Democrats in Congress. Speaking of some of those Marxist Dems in Congress, some were at the White House today, namely two senators from the great state of California. Why were they there? Well, President Trump invited the Los Angeles Dodgers, 2024 World Series champions, beating my New York Yankees, to the White House for their celebration. Take a listen before we wrap up today's show. President Trump having some fun with those two folks.
Congratulations, Brian. And others. We have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually. It's Washington. Over the course of this amazing season,
President Trump and his brilliant sense of humor. Now, of course, those two senators he's talking about, Alex Padilla of California and pencil neck, watermelon head, lion Adam Schiff. President Trump has every right to hate that man's guts after everything he's done to him, everything he's done to this country. That man is a born-bred liar. Deserves no recognition. Folks, thanks so much for joining us tonight here on The Great America Show, and we appreciate you joining us each and every night here on The Great America Show. Please be sure to join us back here tomorrow for The Great America Show as our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues, folks. We're just getting started. We're in it for the long haul, and we're here to bring you the news each and every day, and we always appreciate you joining us, as I said, each and every day here on The Great America Show, twice a day for The Great America Show. And our Great America Show midday updates where you can catch us on the audio, Apple, iHeart, Spotify, wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. We hope you're joining us for those each and every day. Folks, we'll see you back here tomorrow where our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues. As I said, see you tomorrow, folks. Until then, may God bless you, may God bless America, and may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night.